Welcome to Rugby Special. Welcome to Twickenham on Cup Final Day. And an especially warm welcome to any new Rugby Special viewers we may have this Saturday evening. You join us for the last major 15-a-side event of the season, the John Player Cup Final between Gloucester and Moseley. With Gloucester bidding today to win the title for the third time and so equal Leicester's remarkable record. Well, they didn't have things all their own way in the semi-final when they played Coventry, but there was a crucial moment early in the second half that turned the tide Gloucester's way.
The long throw suits Buttermore nicely. It's back from Robbins. Hugh Davies looking for a possible counter-attack chance here, tries to make the break. But the pass taken instead by Phil Pritchard for the softest of tries. A nightmare moment for Coventry, but seventh heaven for Gloucester.
So Gloucester through to the final to face Moseley, the surprise winners against the reigning champions of the last 3 years, Leicester, in the semi-final. A day when they owed so much to the kicking of fly-half Mike Perry.
Good ball from Davidson. Sutherland, Perry. Another long drop goal attempt. Superb from Perry.
So Gloucester then bidding for a third John Player Cup title. Moseley bidding to win the cup for the very first time. An intriguing situation.
So first of all, it's Derek Nutt to lead out Moseley. And you can tell there's a large Gloucester contingent supporting their side here today. And listen to the roars now by contrast for Gloucester, led by Steve Mills. So Moseley side with a fine cup run that includes victory over London, Welsh, Liverpool and Leicester. But less impressive perhaps in their overall season. Derek Nutt has been their inspiring captain and of North Midlands too. Two internationals in the side in Nick Jevons, a match winner in any company, and former England fly half Martin Cooper, 11 times capped, who, like prop forward Trevor Corliss, plays his farewell game today, hoping of course to reproduce that magnificent forward effort that they showed in the semi-final, as well as the die-hard midfield defence that knocked Leicester down and so won Moseley the match. The Gloucester team led by one of their two England internationals, Steve Mills, who has prop Phil Lakeway alongside him, part of a formidable pack that includes two other England tourists bound for North America with England next month, the prop Malcolm Preedy, flanker John Gadd. A young side with great potential, and the only changes, John Orwin returning to the second row, and back also comes Paul Ford at full-back in place of Peter Butler. And refereeing his third cup final, Roger Crittenden, who was in charge in 1978 and in 1981. So it's Gloucester, the Cherry and Whites, to start this cup final. The 11th match. And Gloucester kick it long. Moseley opting for the dropout and quickly taken by Mike Perry. The referee having to turn around fast to see what had happened. Here's Richard Moglo for Gloucester, setting up the first attack of the game. Fullback Paul Ford, about 8 metres outside Moseley's 22. Pile-up forms, Moseley kill it, and Gloucester get the penalty to delight their many, many thousands of supporters who've travelled up the M4 and all stations west today. Well, an important moment this for Paul Ford, who's kicked 30 points in this year's cup run, but lost his semi-final place to the prodigious boot of Peter Butler. But the all-round play of Paul Ford has won him the place back, and now has this testing kick to open. Off the post, but over. 3-0, barely 2 minutes on the clock, and in raptures are the Gloucester supporters. Paul Ford, the kicker. Setback for Moseley. We start through Perry. Set up well by Steve Boyle, the old campaigner. Back to Steve Baker. Well away by Les Jones. Les Jones, a product of Matson, a thriving junior club in Gloucestershire. Steve Boyle winning that one against Ricardo. Steve Baker just outside the Gloucester 22. Gloucester have it. That's Mike Teague in the van. You'll see the number 8 there at the bottom. Another youngster, 22 years old, who's been in England's under-23 squad and will be on tour with them in Italy. So you can see it's quite a strong breeze that confronts the players today. And both hookers, old campaigners these, both former England reserve hookers. Steve Mills, now capped twice, against Gary Cox, who represented England against the USA a few years back. It's a mighty shove by the Gloucester pack. Mosley trying to make something up the narrow side through Nick Jevons. Deep inside the Gloucester 22, knocked on, I think, by Corliss, but good counter-attack work there under the direst pressure by the Mosley pack. Gloucester sending them yards backwards, but the back row, led by Nick Jevons, almost breaking through to the Gloucester goal line. Just beyond the Gloucester 10, the Mosley 10-metre line. Round comes Boyle, tidies it up. Baker, Jones, straight through to Parslow. Cooper's placed well. Lovely cut back inside, has support from Warren. Warren now to Desborough. Inside the Gloucester half. Nice show of the ball and acceleration from Cooper coming up from full-back. Gloucester kill it. The referee gives Mosley the penalty. So with the score 3-0 after 23 minutes, it's the young winger John Goodwin who's been called up for a left-footed attempt from only a couple of metres inside the Gloucester half. So what a moment for the 18-year-old. Well, not a happy ending to it. Mills back to ball forward. Minutes to half-time. Still 3-0 to Gloucester. Down from Davidson. Perry now. Desborough. Shorrock. Cooper. Good overlap created by him for Richard Lawson. Lawson still. Cooper back inside. The cover's there from Gloucester. Mosley's best three-quarter effort yet. And perhaps a move that will give them confidence to try and stretch Gloucester's defence again. Down from Davidson. Sutherland to Perry. Shorrock. Desborough. Held on Gloucester's 10-metre line, but the Gloucester pack again doing the close-quarter work. And a chance here with two men outside Les Jones. On to Pritchard. Back inside, the support not quite there, but it's a useful hack on by Malcolm Preedy, the prop. Back goes Perry. Having to run it to get it away, and did well. Perry was in a real spot of bother there with Malcolm Preedy charging after that fly hack on. Perry, aware that he carried the ball himself over his own goal line, didn't want to concede the 5-metre scrummage, and with a little jink and a shimmy made room for the kick to touch. Mosley pack this time do the good work. Lovely pick up by Perry. Back there's Pritchard. Looks for the opportunity to counter. Finds the Mosley pack, but the pack of his own colour still there. Set it back to Jones, but Cooper well positioned. Another missed kick. Jones again. Pumps it up high. Sutherland waits. Misjudged. Desborough caught on the 22, and away goes Steve Boyle. Gloucester pack on the rampage. Good harrying work, though, by Mosley to counter it. And Mosley come over, offside, and Gloucester have the penalty. So it's the 22-year-old fullback Paul Ford again, who put Gloucester ahead after 2 minutes with a penalty that went the right side of the crossbar, deflected off the upright. 32 points then in his cup run this season. Can he increase the Gloucester lead? Never in doubt. So about 7 minutes plus injury time to go in this half. Gloucester 6, Mosley 0. Paul Ford with all the points. Gloucester supporters in good heart now. 6-0 ahead. Two-man line again for Gloucester with John Orwin at the front, Steve Boyle behind, marked by Nutt and by Davidson. That's Boyle taking it long. Worked well. Back inside to Longstaff. 12 metres out. The packer there to provide it again for Baker and Jones. Jones couldn't quite cling to it. Referee waits for Moseley advantage. And eventually they get the scrummage. Moseley, some desperate defence here these last few minutes. A better, safer scrummage that time. Perry, good kick to touch. And at the final play of this first half, in which Gloucester have looked the better settled side, the more powerful up front, but Moseley showing that they're a cup side of some substance and holding Gloucester to just the 2 penalties by Paul Ford at half-time. So almost a carnival atmosphere, some splendid Gloucester regalia, but one wonders at this point just how significant the wind will be, favouring Moseley in this second half. And immediate use of it made, the ball carrying out on the full. Gloucester in possession, the pick-up by Mike Longstaff. Baker, penalised. Moseley. Gloucester, having lost the player at half-time, bring on a replacement in Gordon Sargent for the injured Malcolm Preedy. Went off for attention at half-time and clearly is not going to resume. So this opening minute of the second half, and on comes another England international, Gordon Sargent, to replace at prop Malcolm Preedy. Well, the whole team's there in case you want to check on the numbers and names. No doubt of what his back are doing now. Baker, Jones, fed through to Parslow. Now Richard Mogg, old favourite of the Gloucester crowd. It's well down by Orwin again. Neatly back to Sutherland. Ford covering. And again, the kicks through by Moseley, paying dividends. Gloucester forced to clear and play safe, and back now to their own 22. Ricardo, 2 in the line for Moseley. Davidson there at 4. Looked to be a bit of obstruction that Davidson certainly didn't like. Sutherland gets it though, away to Perry, through to Shorrock. Long feed to Lawson. Held by Parslow. Still on that Gloucester 22. And a penalty Moseley's way. No, just a scrummage. Sutherland, Perry, dummies to one centre, feeds through to Desborough, but loses possession, and the ball comes Gloucester's way from Longstaff. Gadd, tremendous young back row. So Moseley with 2 penalties already missed, with a chance now through Mike Perry of first points on the board in this match. And against the backcloth of boos and jeers, Mike Perry gives the best possible answer to give delight and first points for Moseley, with almost 14 minutes played of the second half. And this match really comes alive. channeled by Teague, back from Baker to Jones, running it now to Parslow. Back from Trevor Corliss. Perry trying to hoist one, but it's a bit too far. It's a difficult bounce for Ford. Through comes Desborough. Desborough close to the line, knocks it forward. Cooper so close to the try, but it had gone forward. But I think there must have been some obstruction by Gloucester in defence then. And that hoisted ball by Perry creating all sorts of problems. It looks as though Paul Ford had it well covered, but the bounce broke away from him and through came Desborough. And then as he chased through and then Cooper followed up, the ball had gone on forward, but in the meantime I think a bit of obstruction by Gloucester in defence, and the end result's a penalty to Moseley and a chance for Perry to level the scores 19 minutes through the second half. So Perry, who's kicked 35 points in his cup run this season, has never had more significant a kick than this. That levels it. So a quarter of the match to go. Mike Perry puts Moseley level. And two teams both up for the cup now. Gloucester again tidying up at the back row. Longstaff, Gadd to his pack, taken on by Boyle. Teague in support. Superb effort by this Gloucester back row trio. Blakeway in there too. Still Gloucester march on and still set it back. Baker losing possession, but it's Moseley that impede this time and obstruct. And so a Gloucester penalty that could recapture the lead for them. Mike Longstaff taking a knock on the head and I think suffering perhaps a bit of concussion there. The rugby union doctor Leon Walkden, in his last season in that official capacity, which he's done so well, escorts off Mike Longstaff, a part of the brilliant Gloucester back row trio. And it looks like that's the end of his cup final for this year. But in the meantime, a penalty chance for Paul Ford to give Gloucester the lead if he gets it. It's a fine kick. Quarter hour to go, and the Gloucester supporters give vent to their pent-up feelings at last. Paul Ford, the controversial choice in preference to the formidable kicking talents of Peter Butler, justifies his place on his all-round game and his place kicking too. A hat-trick of penalties for him, and Gloucester love it. And on comes Paul Wood, a very competent back row forward replacement he is too. What a hand he's getting. On the halfway line. Jevons trying to set up the position for another Moseley attack. And Gloucester are penalised on the halfway line, killing the ball. So what will Derek Nutt's decision be here? Mike Perry is called up for another long penalty goal attempt. So the possibility now of a dramatic finish. A penalty goal that would level the scores, and if, incidentally, scores were to stay level at 3 penalties apiece at the end of normal time, there would be a period of extra time, 10 minutes each way. So, perhaps the match in the lap of Mike Perry, or at least with his right boot, from just about the halfway line. That's well struck. That is some kick. Perry, his third penalty to match the 3 of Paul Ford. And with just 3 minutes to go, Moseley bring the scores level once again. level in all respects because it's 3 penalties apiece, and with the rules of the competition, if it stays that way till the end, it will be a period of extra time to follow. So the scrummage on the 22, Gloucester's ball, perhaps a chance for Les Jones to drop a goal. Pack controlling it, driving it on. Teague, the number 8, with the ball at his feet. The weight, the control by the Gloucester pack. Another pick-up. Baker looks for the drop goal, it's well low. The long drop out from Perry. Baker. And now Ford. The tackle in from Dave Warren. And now it's a penalty to Gloucester. Mosley in offside in desperation. So Gloucester's penalty attempt. So the end of 40 minutes in the second half. Paul Ford, Gloucester's fullback, has this game probably to win the match or not. That's short. Perry takes it safely. This is the clearance touch that could be expensive. John Orwin on the burst. One hand off, takes 3 men to bring him down. About 6 metres outside the 22, and Mosley this time get the penalty to clear the trouble. Steve Mills, I think there may have been a Gordon Sargent rather, a helping hand probably in the ruck. So Perry from midfield looking for the long touch find. Safely that time. As we come into injury time. But that will be the end of full time in this match. So, with no tries to either side, the penalty goals, 3 apiece, 10 minutes each way, extra time will be played. So a dramatic end to this 11th cup final, the first that's gone to extra time, and a full 10 minutes each way to be played. Unlike the sevens we'll see here next week, no sudden death. So it's Gloucester playing with the wind behind them once again, sides having changed ends, but Mosley in possession, and Perry calming substantial influence on Mosley's efforts during the cup run. Steve Boyle at the back. Again, opting for that long run. Throw in hardly looked straight. Paul Wood brought down by Al Ricardo, but the throw in not straight enough. So it's Mosley's put in, about 12 metres outside their 22. Derek Nutt channeling it. Perry, Cooper. Goodwin through with the thrust. Halfway line. Mosley still in possession. And have it through the backs. Desborough, Shorrock, Cooper, Lawson. Lovely handoff of Pritchard. Lawson now. Lawson still beating the full-back forward, but the cover there by Mike Teague. Perhaps the most exciting run of the day. Richard Lawson there, the 29-year-old who you may have seen play centre three-quarter in the county championship final. Lovely run put away by Martin Cooper, the veteran full-back. So there's Trevor Corliss. I don't think he expected this one to go this long. Boyle taps down, Baker sets back to Jersey Jones, takes his eye up and Derek Nutt comes through. Covering across is Paul Taylor. Gloucester's 22 once more. Gloucester pack race back. The whistle goes. And Gloucester's defence under real stress then. As Derek Nutt fly hacked through. Mosley have the put in. Perry waits. The Gloucester supporters trying to lift the tide. The crooked feed to the scrummage gives the free kick to Gloucester. Les Jones for that far, far left-hand touchline. Makes it. Tense moments now. Two-man line called by Moseley. John Davidson, who has the remarkable sporting record #4 there of having played at both Wembley and Twickenham. There at the front of the line with a lovely tap down to Sutherland. Perry on the burst is Ricardo, sets it up for Jevons, but he didn't hold it. It's recovered by Parslow. Nice preparatory work there by Moseley, but not the finish. Gloucester now with the throw-in. Two-man line again. It's worked well for them. Steve Boyle at the back, varying the length, marked by Davidson. But that's a switch of tactic to Paul Wood, but it wasn't straight. Referee looks at his watch to blow for the 1-minute interval, but the scrummage goes ahead just outside the Moseley 22. Gloucester put on the 180-degree wheel. Another whistle, another scrummage. And that's the end of the first period of extra time, with no change in the scoreline. 9 points all, a minute interval, and the final 10 minutes to come. So it's Moseley to start this last period of play with the win behind them. And of course, if the sides stay level at the end of this, then it will be declared a draw and the cup will be shared. Paul Ford. So Moseley about 6 metres now outside Gloucester's 22. Set up by Trevor Corliss, player that Moseley will surely miss after this his last game. Perry tries a long drop goal attempt, superbly struck and through. Mike Perry. One sense that that must have been in the forefront of his mind. A drop goal specialist, and that's his 4th of the cup run. And is that to be the decisive kick of the 1982 cup final? Brilliantly taken. The pass, sweet from Steve Sutherland. The ball struck on the full, and with weight behind it to carry it those 40 metres through the posts. And Moseley are ahead, 12 points to 9. And 2 minutes into this final phase of the match. And for the first time in this match, it's Moseley that lead. 4.5 minutes of extra time played. Taken by Sutherland. Rather, yes, Sutherland, but not into the scrummage. Baker this time. To Jones. Switch to Ford. Trying to make it up the left. Taken on by Parslow. Parslow with Mogg outside, covering his Goodwin. Inside to intercept is Desborough for Moseley. And really valiant efforts now. Moseley's throw, about 7 metres outside their 22. It's Gloucester that win it. Baker, Jones taps on, Parslow, Taylor, Mogg in from the left wing, out to Paul Ford. Ford with Pritchard outside, the looping man is Taylor, inside the Moseley 22. And they've won it again, the Gloucester pack still keep up the momentum. Still they have it. This time John Gadd, back Gloucester's way again. Baker looking for the run through the middle. Couldn't get the pass away with 3 Gloucester men strung out to his left. Moseley in desperate straits in defence, but somehow managing to hold out. Time ebbing away for Gloucester in their bid to capture the cup for the 3rd time. Moseley for a first ever victory. Sutherland, his weary legs couldn't even hold him up. Still loose. A penalty to Gloucester. Lying over the ball. And it's Gary Cox, the hooker, that penalised. So, for Paul Ford, a kick in front of the post to restore the scores to level. At the far end of the field, the over-excited Gloucester supporters invade it. So it could go level again at 12-all with just a minute and a half to go. No easy kick, this. And one or two Gloucester players turn away. Paul Ford has this to make it level. With a minute to go. An invasion of the pitch by Gloucester, but still the scores stay level. The match is not over yet, and quite unnecessary behaviour from the Gloucester fans, and indeed a number of Moseley ones too. So it's 12-all, 30 seconds on my watch to go. 4 penalties for Paul Ford. 12 points to Gloucester, 12 points to Moseley. Perhaps the last scrummage of the 1982 John Player Cup final. Sutherland with the put-in. Does a run, looks for support, sees none coming. In there is Teague to try and wrestle it away for Gloucester. They have it. Jones might have opted to run it then with his back spread out beyond him. Moseley happy to retrieve it. Perry angled beyond the full-back forward. Up comes Lawson. The loose ball outside the Gloucester 22. Pile-up ensues. The whistle goes. The scrummage to Moseley. So it's not over yet, but it is now. The final whistle has gone, and the cup is shared. And perhaps that is a fair reflection of the day's play, and what an ordeal, what an epic struggle it's been. So it's Gloucester 12, Moseley 12, and the cup for 1982 is shared between them at the end of a titanic struggle, which saw tremendous efforts by two packs, a war of attrition up front, with neither side totally dominant in the end. And so the cup will be held by each club 6 months in turn. And on the end of the day, perhaps it's best that there wasn't a loser. And there, just beyond Sergeant Steve Mills, the Gloucester captain, and the two arm in arm in the best traditions of rugby go up for the cup together. Steve Mills of Gloucester, Derek Nutt of Moseley. And there to receive the cup from the president of the Rugby Football Union, David Brooks, accompanied by Andrew Reid, chairman of Imperial Tobacco. John Player Cup is shared, and that's a lovely gesture. Steve Mills of Gloucester, Derek Nutt of Moseley, good friends at the end of an epic contest.
Well, for the first time ever, two victorious captains on the same day. Let's have a first word with the older of the two, Derek Nutt. It must have been the hardest game of your life, yes?
I'm not sure about that. Definitely. It was a very, very hard game, very fast game. It's a big pitch, Twickenham, and it really does sap the energy and strength out of you. It's the longest game I've ever played in my life, and that's Steve.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. It's very hard, very fast today. Shame, I don't think either side really looked like scoring a try. You know, it's just one of those games decided on kicks.
Presumably you must have thought till the end of the real game, of the first 80 minutes, that you were going to edge home there.
Maybe just, yeah. We always hope for that anyway. You know, especially when the kicks went over. Paul Ford had a super game today. Obviously, you just hope it's going to fall your way, maybe the odd penalty. But I said, come the end of 80 minutes, we were drawing, so we were happy with that. Another 20 minutes then.
Back row was outstanding again.
Yes, shame about Mike Longstaff with his injury. I think someone just caught him badly in the tackle and he had to go off. Same Malcolm Preedy, he's playing well. But people that came on, they play equally as well. We got a very, you know, they're very strong in depth.
Obviously, though, at the end of it all, favourites today, you must have been expecting to win or hoping to win, and you must be disappointed to an extent.
Yes, always we went in as hot favourites, but you can never underrate or overrate Moseley. We played them twice this year, club level, and won. But I say this is cup rugby, it's different. They fight to the last whistle, both sides did.
Well, having pulled back from the brink of defeat at the end of the first 80 minutes, Derek, contrastingly, you must have thought you were home with that magnificent Mike Perry drop goal in the last passage of play.
Yes, I just thought we'd sneaked it actually, and Mike put that one over. I must admit, I was very pleased. But again, as Stu said, it's cup rugby. You fight to the bitter end, and Gloucester kept coming at us, and we kept knocking them down. And eventually, as was the game, I think the penalties eventually came either one way or the other. Neither side really looked like creating too many scoring chances, and it was the tackling that really ruled the game, I think, in the end. There was some tremendous tackling on both sides, and I thought it was a very good game despite being no try scored.
So the cup shared for the very first time. Not the most satisfactory ending to the competition, but it wasn't the most satisfactory game of rugby either. But we leave you today with the joint triumph of Moseley and Gloucester. Good night.